First of all, an apology. We're currently in Les Orz in France, so I think I'm kind of like a week behind with videos, and I have a good reason for this. So last week at Canazei was the third round of the EWS. The last video before this was the EWS track walk, so if you missed that, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen there so you can go and check that out and get updated. I had planned to record, as I usually do, practice and race, just to take you guys and girls through what it's like to race in EWS, what the stages were like this weekend and that kind of thing. Now, to my knowledge from the last race we did last year, the last few races we did last year in Italy, I got the impression that being in Italy you couldn't use GoPro cameras like this to record your racing, and I thought it was something to do with money, the mafia or something like that, which I still think is the case. This race, I didn't actually, in Canazei, I didn't attend the rider briefing, which was a massive mistake, because at the rider briefing they actually said you could use GoPros for your racing as long as you basically signed a waiver that said that you wouldn't sue the EWS, if you know, anything like that. Which I only found out about when I was at the top of stage one and I saw everyone with GoPros and their helmets, and I was like, damn. So I had the option of going back to the motorhome to get the GoPro after like stage one, but I thought it was going to be too much mental stress and blah blah blah. So just left it for the day. So this video is kind of going to be like a catch-up episode. So I'm going to talk a bit about the race last weekend in Canazei, almost like a little mini review. I don't have any GoPro footage, but however, Amanda was running around with the camera.
Where are you from?
Britain, England.
You like it?
Absolutely love it. Some of the best trails ever.
Guys, Gibbs with Frank Kirschel.
Right, now Alex, okay? Things we do for our boys. Race pit stop number 1 for Kai to keep cool before stages 2. We're going to walk up and cheer Alex on in a second. Come on Ross, keep going! Keep going, well done!
Go, 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 go!
Pedal!
Go, go, go! One more, push!
Kai, come here. Kai, this way. Come on. Kai's waiting for Alex. Where's he at, Kai?
You could actually use GoPros today. I didn't know. This is why Amanda's filming.
No, I am ultra amazing vlogger anyway. Where's Kai standing?
My crotch.
Kilian, 18th position.
Oh, Alex.
Got it. Go, go!
Jason, show us your shoes again.
Oh, yeah! You got my There's the cabbage on that one. That's a nice Teddy.
And you got nothing on yours. Okay.
I just love cheese and tomatoes. Margarita. You can't go wrong with a margarita. Okay, yeah, so that was the race in Canazei. It was a ridiculously hot race, dusty, dry, dealing with the heat, the altitude, all came into play for that race. I ended up finishing 91st, I think it was, which doesn't sound too great on the surface, but there was a tough competition there. The races in Europe usually are some of the bigger field races, so I think this weekend in Les Orz and last weekend in Canazei, there was like, you know, there's 450 people registered to race, so it's a big event. Put it in perspective, if I was 10 seconds faster on all 5 stages last weekend in Canazei, I would have bumped myself up to 50th or 60th position, which is a big jump in 30-40 positions for only about 50 seconds of time. And when you're racing over 20-25 minutes of racing, whatever it is, that's marginal, it's not actually that much at all. So we then drove from Canazei down to Lake Garda, which was about a 2.5 hour drive. Ridiculously hot. Me and Amanda were just both praying for rain, and there was just still blue skies in sight, so there was no signs of thunderstorms, even though we'd been promised it on the weather apps and stuff. We stayed with Team Kiwi, so that was like Bubbles, Dee, Brooke, Sam, all the other people who are associated with those guys, all real good people.
Nah, go full squat. It's gotta be full squat. Oh! Your keeping's so good!
We stayed in a nice lovely house for the night, had a barbecue together and just chilled out in the swimming pool and had a real good time. So the next day after that we drove from Lake Garda over to Les Orz in France, which was about it was supposed to be a 5-hour journey west to Les Orz in France, which is kind of just above Monaco. I'll put a picture on the screen now of the map so you can see whereabouts we are right now. And we had a couple of problems with traffic jams, rain, and at one point this happened.
We're at a toll pass. Come and look what's happened to my bike. Barrier's closed on my bike. No? She's off. Ben. Grazie.
Anyway, no bikes were hurt in the making, and we just trucked on. So yeah, this weekend we're in Les Orz in France, kind of like the south of France-ish, I think, for the 5th round of the EWS. I'm just about to head out for practice for day 1 of what is set to be a pretty sunny, pretty big weekend of racing in the Alpine. So stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot of footage to upload, practice and race, and I'm sure Amanda's going to be sharing her journey as well from riding and her perspective as well from the racing stuff. So take care and we'll see you soon.